So many times I hear women say, but Cynthia, Cynthia, he promised, he said he was going to change. He said we're going to get married. He said he was going to leave her. And I have to always say, I hear you, but what is he doing? Today, I want to talk about maladaptive daydreaming, limerence, and future faking, and why, especially for my attachment girlies, is keeping you stuck and what you should do instead. If you're new here, welcome to Heal the New Sex, where we discuss all things healing, self-love, and relationships. My name is Cynthia, and I'm so glad that you're rocking with me tonight. If you are on the East Coast, I hope you're staying warm. Just one announcement. Starting in February, a few days away, we are going to do group coaching every Saturday at 10 a.m. So if you ever want to be coached by me, that is your time to join, but also you don't want to miss out. I know February can be a triggering month for many women, and we're going to take this month and we're going to be intentional in our healing. So be sure to click the link in the description because you're going to want to join because the slots are filling up. So I'm going to talk about, we're breaking down what maladaptive daydreaming is, what limerence is, and future faking. And more importantly, how women, especially women with attachment issues, must take responsibility for managing these patterns in dating. Listen, we're healing, but we're changing our habits. We're addressing our habits, okay? It's not just about healing and getting the information and being very intellectual about what it is that you're doing. We are changing our habits, our patterns as it relates to dating. That is what must change in order for you to have a healthy relationship. If you don't change the habits of a thing, you're going to have the same thing, okay? Listen, you cannot afford to live in fantasy while dating in real life. And I see and I coach many women who have allowed a man to tap into their fantasy, and that's where you're living. I'm bringing you down to reality, okay? Reality, all right? So let's talk about maladaptive daydreaming. This is when your imagination becomes a coping mechanism instead of a creative one. So many of us, if you grew up in a chaotic home, you may have been born with a very great imagination. And so maladaptive daydreaming became a coping mechanism in order to assist you in managing the toxicity of the home in which you grew up in. And so now, even in your romantic relationships or when you're getting to know someone, you have the tendency to begin to daydream and begin to create a reality for this relationship, especially in order to protect you from rejection, in order to protect you from pain. And this is why it's so important to stay present. You have to learn how to be present in your dating, because if not, you will end up in a relationship or a marriage with a person that you did not know because you've painted this man to be something that he isn't, okay? In dating, this looks like imagining entire relationship, right? The entire relationship after a few dates. Mentally rehearsing weddings, trips, or family introductions. Filling in gaps when clarity is missing. So when it becomes confusing, you're filling in the gaps. Well, maybe he thinks this, or he probably did it because of this. I've coached women who, you know, that he's newly divorced or he has certain traumas. And so when he doesn't bring clarity, you're filling it in and saying, oh, he's behaving this way because of this. No, you have to stop that, okay? When there is not clarity, you either need to seek it from him, and if he can't offer it, then you have to be comfortable with sitting in the confusion and then making a decision. And the decision most likely is, this is not the right person for me. He is not a healthy partner, okay? Emotionally attaching before commitment exists. That's what this looks like in dating. And here's the key part. No man is doing this to you. This is your nervous system trying to create safety before safety is earned. And listen, we have to move slowly and intentionally before we give our heart. If you are not a part of the membership, you're going to want to join. I did a video in there dating. I think I should be able to put it up here. How to date without giving that man your heart. We are dating from our frontal lobe. We are dating from a logical place. We are not dating from our heart. You know why? Because we have engaged in unhealthy behaviors and patterns, and that has led us into toxic relationships. So we're doing something different. Remember, we are addressing the habits that have us in unhealthy relationships, okay? So be sure to join the relationship. So again, your nervous system is trying to create safety. You have grown up in an environment where things wasn't safe, where intimacy was a trigger, where love was a trigger. Maybe you had parents that had that hot cold type of thing going on with you. Maybe you struggled for their acceptance, and so you're trying to get that. And so your nervous system, which did a great job to get you through childhood, now is posing an issue, and that is why you keep being in these unhealthy relationships. Okay. And something else I want to say is that when you love a person, you're feeling your emotion. You're not feeling their emotion. You experience the love of a man. There's no way for you to really determine the intensity of love that he has for you outside of his actions for you. And a lot of women get so caught up because, like, Cynthia, I love him. You are feeling your love for him. You can only experience his love for you. And if he is not showing up for you in a way and caring for you how you are teaching him to care for you, unless you're teaching him to be inconsistent, uncaring, and unkind, then you need to pay attention to that, okay? So let's talk about this. Fantasy, you need to know, is not regulation. You are not regulating yourself. You're not regulating your nervous system when you engage in fantasy. When you find yourself daydreaming about this man, especially if you have attachment issues, you're going to have to stop that, okay? You need to stop. Maybe have a journal and begin to write, what am I feeling in this moment? And am I feeling unsafe? Do I feel like he judged me? Am I concerned he's going to reject me? Am I feeling unloved? That way you can process it and regulate yourself, because fantasy is not regulation, okay? What fantasy is avoidance in the present moment. What you're doing is you're avoiding the facts. You're avoiding the truth. And even if he is a healthy man, you still are being avoided. Why? Because you're trying to protect yourself from the perceived pain that you think is going to happen in this relationship, whether it's the relationship ending, you feel you're going to be ghosted, rejected, you feel like this person can't accept you or love you, but you can't engage in the daydreaming, okay? So let's also talk about limerence. Limerence is not love, it's obsession fueled by uncertainty. Limerence thrives when a man is inconsistent. He's emotionally unavailable. That hot and cold behavior that we talk about, right? He's vague but charming. He does a whole lot of future faking, which I'm going to talk about later. This right here is to me, is like, it's a deadly trio, okay? It's a deadly trio, because when you meet a man he speaks more than he actually does, and you know you struggle with limerence, and you know you struggle with maladaptive daydreaming, you're giving that man a whole lot of credit, and he's not even showing up for it. All he has to do is give you some words. So he overpromises and underdelivers every time, and he doesn't have to deliver. Why? Because he knows that you're gonna make up for him. It's like I saw on TikTok, the young lady had been with a man 50-50 for 11 years. No judgment. No judgment. And it was her birthday. And she said, you couldn't even get me a birthday card? You know why that man couldn't give her a birthday card? Why? Because for 10 years, she's taught him that he doesn't have to show up for her. For 10 years, she has filled in for him. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and even financially. And that's what happens when you engage in these types of ways of coping, okay? So again, limerence is not love. It's obsession fueled by certainty, okay? Your brain becomes addicted to his attention, his validation, and the possibility of being chosen. Remember, we're not working to be chosen. We believe in mutual selection over here. We believe in slowing down to see if we can form a friendship, because we understand that compassionate love is the love that is long lasting, okay? We should be working on building compassionate love to see if this person has the ability to be a friend. Then we move into romantic love, because when we grow old with this person, right, we still need access to our friend, because that's the love that's going to last the longest, okay? And here's the uncomfortable truth as it relates to limerence. Limerence often has nothing to do with the man himself. He ain't even all of that. You ever been limerent of a man and then y'all break up and then you look back, you're like, he looked like Flavor Flav. What was I thinking? Listen, what you were just trying to be validated, be chosen. You were chasing after him and filling in the spaces and the gaps, because as a child, you experienced this same type of love. You haven't experienced a healthy love. A healthy love may feel uncomfortable to you, unknown to you. So that's why you may be, it ain't got nothing to do with him. He ain't even all that. That's why your homegirls be like, what? Huh? It's about your unmet emotional needs, right? Your attachment wounds, your fear of abandonment or rejection or neglect. This is why women who stay emotionally loyal to men who haven't earned that access. This is why you hear men still talking about something they want to ride or die, or women aren't like they used to. Your granddaddy used to be able to go cheat. Why would you want a man like that? Why would you want a man like that? Why would you stay? There are men who want to take advantage of your attachment issues. Do you think your grandmother wanted to be in that type of unhealthy relationship? Or did she want to be in a relationship where a man knew she was sacred? Or a man loved her, adored her, esteemed her, couldn't get enough of her? When she walked by, he was consumed by her. Do you know the longing on the inside of you, how you want a man to long for you? You know how you want to be seen and taken in and ravished by a man. Don't let these men out here with their unhealthy selves, their broken hearts, they need to go do some work on these podcasts, need to snatch their microphones, convince you to settle and to accept maltreatment. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Now let's talk about this one right here, this future faking, okay? Future faking is real. This is when a man makes a whole lot of promises of the things that he's going to do. Y'all may be looking for houses. Y'all may go ring shopping. He may have even introduced you to his family. He is painting a portrait of what life will be with him. Or he could be doing work and he's like, baby, when my business takes off, then I'm going to take you here and we'll do this. He's making all of these promises, right? Some men do talk about marriage, babies, moving in and forever with no intention of moving forward. And that's why you got to be careful when a man is talking to you about these things, because you have to assess if his words and his behavior is lining up. When he's talking to you about these things, you need to be sure that he's talking to you about these things because he sees a future with you, versus he's talking about these things because these are ultimate things that he wants, but he's not being clear that he wants them with you. Okay? But let's talk about where responsibility comes in. Words are not contracts. And just because he said it doesn't mean he's going to do it. And when his action shows you that he's not doing it, you need to respect his actions. Believe his behavior over his mouth. Believe his behavior over his mouth. His behavior will tell the truth before his mouth does. I'm confused. You're not confused, sugar. Pay attention to what you see. If he didn't say nothing, what would his behavior say as it relates to you? If he was everybody on mute, what is it that you see? His words and his behavior need to match up. If they don't, he future faking. Okay? A woman must stop treating verbal promises as commitment. Acting bonded because of conversations. I had a coaching session today and I asked her, I said, are you open to dating multiple men at one time? She was like, yeah, I am. And you should be too. Now, I know some women like, Cynthia, I can't. Okay, if you can't, but you need to be open. If you have an attachment issue, you need to be open to dating multiple men at a time. That way you are not so easily being attached to one. Okay, if you need help with that, click the link in the bio. I'll help you do that, right? A woman must stop staying emotionally and physically and spiritually and financially invested without progression. When you feel that the relationship is getting stagnant after you have a conversation about it and there's still no movement, you got to move. Don't stay. And the relationship is not moving. And he's not being very clear as to what apprehension or fear or concern he has with the relationship moving forward. Now, let me say this. When you have a conversation with him and he needs to be very clear on what it is that he needs in order for the relationship to move forward. And there must be a timeline. Okay. It can't be, oh, well, yeah, we need to work on things. And you're like, well, what is it that we need to work on? Like your attitude, or what is about my attitude? Well, sometimes I just don't like da. Okay, I can work on that. And then you say, it takes 21 days to form a habit. So you've been working on it. You're like, okay, well, I've worked on this about myself. I'm ready. Well, is that every time you come to him with something? No. Don't let that man waste your time and your life. Life is precious. It's a currency that we give that we can't get back. So don't allow him to waste your time. Okay? If a relationship is not moving forward in real time, the future does not exist. No matter how poetic his words are, no matter how charming he is, no matter how doting he may be, okay? If he's not trying to move the relationship forward, then you need to move around. Stop giving up your life. You can never get it back. Staying because of what he said instead of what he does is self-abandonment. And the thing is, the longer you stay, you teach him that you'll continue to stay, and you teach him that he doesn't have to give anything for you to stay. That means you're giving yourself away. You're giving your love, your kindness, your nurturance, your presence. You're giving it all away. You're helping him navigate through life. You know, he has an issue. He can share it with you. Meanwhile, you are dying because you want someone to love you, to see you, to nurture you, to pour into you, to care for you. And he's not doing that. You may even be around his family, but y'all still ain't even made it official. His mama be at the dinner table giving you the side eye like, baby, stand up. Stand up. Listen, you have to be present. You have to learn to be present in your relationship. This goes for friendships too. You got to be present. Presence means watching behavior and tracking consistency, not filling in the gaps, allowing silence to reveal truth. You got to stop getting anxious because you haven't heard from him and reaching out to him. You guys aren't having a conversation. He's just responding to you. If you stopped, what would happen in the relationship? Would the relationship stop? Would he not reach out to you? You're planning all the dates. You're calling, you're texting, you're doing everything. It's about to be Valentine's Day. You're like, oh, what do you want to do? What do you think we should do for Valentine's Day? You dropping hints. A man who wants you doesn't need for you to drop any hints. He's already planned. He planned in December what he was going to do in February. He knows what your favorite flowers are. He knows if you're a book girly. He knows if you like tea or if you like coffee. He knows if he's going to decorate the hotel room. Talk about, so will you be mine with your favorite chocolates there and some chocolate covered strawberries. Like, he already has it planned out. It's December. It's January 31st. And you're like, he hasn't asked me to be his Valentine yet. I wonder if he's planning it. Is it? No, we're going to, We're going to allow the silence to reveal the truth. Don't ask that man about Valentine's Day and see what he come up with. And if he doesn't come up with nothing, then that tells you everything you need to know. When you stay present in your dating, the fantasy collapses because you are able to see him for who he is. Your limerence loses power. We're not being obsessed. I ain't saying a whole song. See, let me go ahead and sing. Why are you so obsessed with me? Listen, the obsession loses power. That's Mariah Carey. I see they honoring her. We honor Mariah. Listen, come on now. The obsession loses power. You're no longer seeing him you're no longer seeing him as the AI version that you created him to be. You're able to see him for his shortcomings and for his flaws, and we all have them. Okay? You see the reality of the relationship clearly, and that allows you to make a decision. Because when you're able to see a person clearly, you're able to determine if that truly is your man, or if it's not. But it's easy to move from dating to exclusivity in fantasy because you've made him to be such a great guy when he really is not. Or maybe he's a good guy, but he's not showing up for you the way that you desire a partner to show up for you in the way that you're showing up in your dating. You're being very gracious and merciful and understanding. Y'all supposed to go on a date. He cancels it and he doesn't even reschedule it with you. And then he sends you a hey, big head text and you respond to that. And then y'all hang out and y'all kick it. He don't even take you on a date. Y'all just go meet up at his place. No. A healthy woman asks, is this relationship progressing? Is his effort consistent? Is he emotionally available? Is he emotionally stable? Does he respect my boundaries? How does my body feel around him? Do I feel anxious? Right? If the answer is no, she doesn't argue with the reality. Many of us fight in reality, but we're really fighting a ghost. Don't fight reality. You need to respond to it. Respond to what it is that you're seeing. And somebody asked me to do a video about intuition versus your nervous system. I got you, okay? You guys have a lot of good ideas, and I'm one person, but I'll try to roll it out for you, okay? So for my girlies with attachment issues, all right? If you struggle with attachment, hear me clearly. It is your responsibility to regulate your inner world, okay? That means interrupting fantasies. That means if you're having a fantasy, you say, no, get up, go for a walk, journal, put on some music, dance. You got to interrupt that fantasy. You cannot let that fantasy play out, because what you're doing is you're trying to write what it'll be, okay? You have to slow emotional investment. That means you may have to be cognizant of how much time, one, that you are speaking to him on the phone. Do not give that man access to you where he could just talk to you all day long. You at work, you supposed to be at work, but you texted him or you talking to him on the phone. If it has to be that you're really strict in the beginning, 9 to 5, I'm at work, sorry, I'm not available by phone, and you talk to him 1 hour, at night, you have to do what you have to do to put barriers in place to guard your heart. Not barriers, you need to guard your heart, because there's a difference between boundaries and barriers. But if you know that you are one of the, you like to give people extra credit, you got to be mindful of that, okay? Grounding yourself in the facts, not the fantasy. What's the fact? The fact is that you guys were supposed to go on a date on Thursday, 2 days, 24 hours before. He didn't confirm the date. The day of, he said nothing to you. He didn't reach out an hour before. That's the facts. When he sends a text later on like, hey, what's going on? You got one or two choices. Either you can respond or you can say, listen, I'm looking for a man who's consistent and he's intentional, and that's not who you are. I wish you all the best. Okay? Not attaching to potential, but you're attaching to the reality of who that man is. You're making a decision to be with him based off of the reality of who he is. Is he honest? Does he have integrity? Does he have, is he consistent? What is his character like? Those type of things. Is he kind to you? Is he kind to others? Okay? A man should never be carrying the weight of your emotional regulation. Okay? Don't seek him out. You are calling him and texting him because you want him to regulate you. He may not know that's what it is, but you know what it is. You know when you feel triggered. You know when you feel overwhelmed. You know when you start feeling like he's rejecting you or he's pulling away. So you text or you do something to perform in order to get his approval. You know that, but that's not his responsibility. Okay? Attachment healing requires discipline, and that's hard. Discipline, self-awareness, nervous system work, emotional boundaries, right? Love is not supposed to feel like obsession, anxiety, or urgency, okay? Many women aren't stuck because a man is confusing. They're stuck because they bonded in imagination to that man. So you've attached yourself to him through maladaptive daydreaming. You attached before he committed to you. So now that's why you're rushing for him to commit. You're putting pressure on him to commit because you've already committed to him, because you don't know how to date without giving that man your heart. Okay. You ignored stalled progress again because you want the commitment. So you are the caboose pushing the relationship forward versus allowing it to naturally progress. And even if it fizzles out, being okay with that. Okay. And that you and women are stuck because they prioritize hope over truth. Dating requires clarity, not chemistry alone. And that part where you prioritize hope over truth, that's very sticky. That's where many women get stuck. That's where you're hoping for him to change, that you want to believe everything he says to you. And even if his behavior doesn't match up, you are giving him hope and you're giving him grace, and you need not to. You need to move forward. Okay? Again, dating requires clarity, not chemistry. And a woman who stays present, she cannot be future faked. She cannot be emotionally strung along, and she cannot be trapped by words or her imagination. It's your responsibility to address that maladaptive daydreaming and that limerence. It's your responsibility to regulate your nervous system and find what works for you so that you can self-soothe. Okay? I want to hear from you down below. If you have ever engaged in maladaptive daydreaming or limerence and you're like, Smithia, this video was for me. Again, this is Heals New Sexy. My name is Smithia.